Hello and welcome back to the podcast. This is Mike Rice, and these are the China stories. I have been once again making the mistake of browsing the web, and I ran across a post that shared a billboard somewhere in some city. I'm assuming it's a billboard. It could be a photoshopped thing, but I doubt it. And it goes as follows. When you go out and see the empty streets, the empty stadiums, the empty train platforms, don't say to yourself, it looks like the end of the world. What you're seeing is love in action. And what you're seeing in that negative space is how much we do care for each other, for our grandparents, for our immune-compromised brothers and sisters, for people we will never meet. People will lose their jobs over this. Some will lose their businesses, and some will lose their lives. All the more reason to take a moment when you're out on your walk or on your way to the store or just watching the news to look into the emptiness and marvel at all of the love. Let it fill and sustain you. It isn't the end of the world. It's the most remarkable act of global solidarity we may ever witness. So that's interesting. The idea that have a global agreement to show our love to those less fortunate and those less able to resist the disease. I have to wonder how we equate love with government order. In that respect, it seems terribly Orwellian to me that stay at home means love. It's very strange. We're not being told the complete truth. This is something I believe personally. And I suppose the complete truth is a little too complicated to spread over the news waves, especially with the rather dumbed-down media we have these days, on all sides. And this is not a right-wing message. This is just me questioning whether or not what we're hearing about the infection rate and the deaths and the naming of non-COVID deaths, COVID deaths, ever factors into the notion that we love each other. And do we? Is this an act of love? Is this an act of self-preservation? If I said on Sunday, March 22nd, under the direction of the Ohio governor, the Ohio Department Health Director issued a director's order to require all Ohioans to love to prevent the further spread of the COVID-19 beginning, etc., etc. The statement was issued a new love order that begins on April 7th, etc. Does that follow? I think this is us reaching back to what we think we want this to be, when in reality this is a relatively well-managed situation, although we can have our discussions about who dropped the ball when. I just wonder if it's love that makes you stay home. And if you need to change your perspective on what it is you're doing, then maybe you're not actually loving anybody. Action. We are Americans, and so action is what we prize probably more than just about anything else. Solve the problem. Stand up to the evil. Move forward. Constantly move forward. It's time for us to call an end to this love, this stay-at-home order. This is my opinion. I'm here in China, and so maybe I'm not tuned in to what's happening in the U.S. But the people I love, I want them to be able to decide for themselves whether or not staying at home is something they feel they need to do, or whether avoiding losing their business or their livelihoods at this juncture is as important or more important than the possibility that they may lose their life. Yes, the immunocompromised, the elderly, all should be dealt with in terms of making sure that they don't unnecessarily capture this disease. But if you want to return to work, using love as an excuse to stay in your home is delusion. When I started this, I didn't think I was going to be this dark. I was going to try to be more witty. But just put love in places where they're using the phrase stay-at-home order. And how many states have made it a law? And do we fine people for not loving with $1,000 fines? As far as global solidarity is concerned, nah, that's not true. We're all working together because we're fighting the common enemy. But that's not the same thing. We're not embracing Germany. We're just simply helping them. And vice versa, as I understand it. Does that mean our love doesn't extend to China, who, quite frankly, dropped the ball, whether knowingly or not? I have to wonder, is love the right word? Is what I'm doing when I stay home instead of going out and having a beer love? Or is it fear? Fear of the unknown. So, in this respect, I guess that billboard did change my perspective. But I don't believe that we can address this from somehow approaching the greater good. We need to be acting as though individuals are being affected, as though the economy is being destroyed, as though people's freedoms are being removed by local, state, and federal orders, not laws. Now's the time for us to get back to work. I'm lucky, and that I was able to do what I do via the internet. But I have to be honest, I'm not terribly interested in listening to people who fear dying so much that they would let the world fall down around their ears and call it love. So remember, please, always be courageous and kind. And I'll see you next time.